All right. You welcome back from that short break. Thank you very much for staying with us. And we also want to say a big thank you once again to Dr. John Osai-Kwapong for that enlightening interview. Now, let's go straight to our next interview because we've had our guest sitting in the green room this entire hour waiting for us to get to him. We do thank him very much. We have Nana and Sako. We're still waiting for our other guests. But let's start the discussion with Nana Ansa Cole. Nana is an educator in the USA. Of course, as you can tell, he's Ghanaian fully. And when he starts speaking, there will be no doubt at all about that. But he is a highly prized, let me put that emphasis on, highly prized teacher in the United States educational system. We'll get to learn more about him, about what he does for the school and everything. Nana, welcome to Radio Culture, iCulture TV.
It is a pleasure to be here and be part of the program.
Thank you so much. Nana, what's in there? The rule of thumb is that we speak every language that Ghanaians understand, of course, including English. So if the English comes, it's very welcome to make the point so that our international audience will also understand. But when the spirit, catches you and you have to speak any language that Ghanaians understand, please feel free to express yourself in any of our. Yensasa, we will ask you for clarification. But anyhow, thank you very much. Let's start the discussion. Nana, tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all, so we can put our whole conversation in context.
Yeah. Originally, Nipefi, Cape Coast, Ghana, West Africa, Yezebo Poe America, Chroma. I had the opportunity to school in different schools, Mokro, Cambridge, Kakra, Mokra, Ideal, Kakra, Major Secondary School, Yezuko Poe Agri Memorial 1 to 5, Mokro 6 form, Kumasi, Tia, Media. But unfortunately, in the university, Brother Square in Mentumenye Ghana, because I wasn't thinking I really felt the need to go. No more than you Kenya Unilever, Liver Brothers as a sales rep. And indeed, when they were hired as sales representative and territory managers, and I was the only one at Namonko University. But due to man's acumen and his prowess, I was taken on. And through that, if I may remember, my national service, me a teacher. And so teaching the Oyazide has been part of my nature. And if I may be permitted to say, back in the day, Chiame Kwame nominated the Wobenipa for rap school. And what baby I'm a book who has a poor one. So book in the man before I was about one, I've already read the book. So before I give you the book, the next time I see you, I'm trying to get a summary or know what it is about. And with time, it's in your opportunity by American. So now I did computer science and engineering. But I never thought they may a teacher full-time or her. So I had been doing technology support for the school system. And on one of the visit back home to Ghana and mobile back, and our mom was say, hey, if you want your position again or there reapply for. Muslim politics, some numbers and they are mess more than 1 year. So I started going to classroom now as a teacher instead of technology support. But then I was signed on as a long-term substitute, and it gives a flexibility. The time they are Pedagogy for Ghana, you can easily set off and go to Ghana. And it was very helpful. However, if you are a long-term substitute, they direct you to different schools. So in Ghana, and they be in the Obama Agri Memorial or China Eco National, it be next week Eco Augustins. Next month, Echo, Adesada, and so forth, teaching specific subject areas. So last year, I was designated and he'll be over technology. Now, foundations of technology and introduction to engineering. So I said I want to get on board. What's here? Why a computer science? I technology support, and you already have your masters in CAGs there. You are a fit. However, now they had to let me go do certification in the subject area, being technology and engineering, which is what my Praxis 2, Praxis 5053. And as soon as they asked me for it, there was a mom contract offer. So now I'm in a new contract since last December to now.
I
And
see.
yeah, then Yami Aduma December, you able to be a Kogana na yes in the music a crack or buofia.
Let's bring on teacher Kantanka. Teacher Kantanka, another face and as a voice, also on your stranger, platform is teacher. We also know him as a linguist. Mefkanisa at Menshana as a spokesperson at Mensha, or you'll be a yehia, a mamra hun sempia, your corner. Teacher, Akwaba.
Major so bro.
Yo, but that's CP teacher. Now, yeah, can education, educating the Ghanaian child, and what's them? Yeah, Sabrofune bebo, Setri nebebo, Casabia Ghana 40 a Sibiano, yeah, Bekan Wahasi, yeah, Tiasa, yeah, baby, Sam watch him. Now, the year shed is to say, yeah, Yenia, Nana Asako, Nana, Obi or Chad, Ewo, America, Hasi. Yeah, per se, share America for Quayo Modiche or Modiche or more Madie. Ghana for a quiet editor Madie. What are the pros? What are the cons? Again, a year, dear no a year, a big point, a bit mission, be a free Hodiaka America, dear home. A dear in America for no so ye be a suke the share, so the year, dear Nanka Beboa, any idea. And Nutina, year 3 and South and a teacher.
Yo, menso medamas. Me teacher idea. Na ka adichire ho asemo a minim kakra. Nti kakra minim metimi ene mo ache. Na se mi fiase asenso bibi na mbubu sade a mbusa na maka.
Me pacho emsa bi do one nti ma yem fa fiase. O kan wi na ya bisa de aka to aso.
Yo, me hu se de dika no ya yam fum so pi se sabe ura suku mu ana obroni kasa ene de ta ya de no ya hu hwia enye ye bi se ye ma mu achiche nkiche enti no ana ye betumi de akira de nanso nka senka ye de ene ay krum kasa no akira ya de koduru baabi na se ye de eno akira de no nanka brofo no so bata ho mienu nanka ye de ko e bi se o hwa o ma bi te se Holland or mo de o Dutch no akira de ena o mo san de brofo enso akira de takora bi o kra no san fa French a o mo de ka ho akono be nyina dura ni mo esan so de ni mienu ana na me nsan nyina konti o te ni nyina pepepe enso o na ye de no de akwaya de se o mpe broni de no na se de ono ti na de asena eno ana ye de be kire ya de enti e ma invitiation no ana ye yenya aya asem kase amaye nti akire sa o mama beti brofo no na je sa de na nkasa ni mfitiase no wanti ne ye eno sa da nchen a eye ade a friend training college ma teacher training college is na oni na no uko uramu pa ade a de kire wa ye kire wo nyina nye akoda na wo ko kire na de no ho asem ene de kire wo enye sebe ya ade obetumi akira de ama akoda na te ase ene de kire wo ye kire wo a teacher na wa ba suku mu ho no ye kire wo no ma ebeboa wo na watimi atoa wade sua so daate enti teacher ne no eba sepe na se o ko kira de a otimi ka se me de we de mintimi nkire ye wa teacher fo bebre a otimi ka se me de we de mintimi nkire nanso no we training college ebi o hono mo a otimi hu se teacher no obetimi akire kura no a essence kwanya ya fa so tira kora de e ma na ti ase no na akoye teacher na adesoa ono ana se so dadwene ho se mefa kwa weso mafa kwa weso ama akora na ti ase enso abrɔfo no deɛ ne deɛ sɛtie ne sɛ wokɔ no wura hɔ a yɛayeyɛ ɛnɔma no agu hɔ sɛ wei ɛna ɛkwan a wobɛfractions averages na wokyerɛ a sɛ deɛ wokyerɛ biara no yɛayɛ ɛkwan no to hɔ sɛ wei fa kwa wei so kyerɛ akwadaa no deɛ no ɔnte ase yɛn nso teacher no bɛwie school no na kwan a yɛfa so kyerɛ akwadaa deɛ no na ɛni hɔ ɛno nti aborɔfo no deɛ no ɔmofrɛ no pedagogy pedagogy no kyerɛ sɛ methods ɛkwan hodoɔ a yɛfa so de kyerɛ akwadaa deɛ ma no te ase yɛn nso yɛ deɛ no ayɛ sɛ education no ara kɛkɛ ɛno ɛboa teacher no
teacher na me to say ya ne te Ghana deɛ yɛni pedagogy ni bi wɔ hɔ ɛno bi ni yɛ
bi yɛn no na yɛde kyerɛ teacher for no koraa yɛkyerɛ ɔmo education so yɛde yɛ policies ma aban educational policies ne
very big
ɛna yɛde
I was say we call Minister of Education hɔ
but who say teacher for no yɛnkyerɛ wɔ ɔmo sɛ de esi kyerɛ deɛ
the trauma more
ɛno mmom na ɛsɛ sɛ ɛba sɛ yɛankyerɛ pedagogy na yɛkɔkyerɛ education deɛ a ɛne education na ɛba mu nso yɛ one subject ɛwɔ training school ɛna pedagogy no na ɛyɛ teacher no ɛbata no ho a kɔsi sɛ ɔde bɛwie school no nti wɔba a owura classroom na book kura ni hɔ a teacher no tumi hunu sɛ mekyerɛ poem nti poem na mekyerɛ no mea koraa mɛtumi acreate bi ɛde ama akɔdaa no sua teacher ne tumi ka kyerɛ sɛ nɔɔma bebrebe a wɔasua nyinaa wontumi nhunu sɛ wokyerɛ adeɛ class 3 nti wobɛtumi de sɛdeɛ ɛsi kyerɛ wɔ adeɛ wowɔ class 3 no wobɛtumi afa na wadaadaa no na ama akɔdaa no asua adeɛ teacher tumi ka kyerɛ sɛ ɔni book
wow teacher
wotumi ka sɛ nkɔdaa akɔdaa no a ɔkyerɛ ade no gu nso mfa ne notebook hello
mepacho koso mami
hello
mepacho koso
enti wo teacher wo ne wakɔdaa nyina obi ani hɔ a ohia book wo teacher nankasa ogyina no woyɛ book enti deɛ wonim no twerɛ gu board no so na akɔdaa no nso ntwerɛ ngu no nwoma mu na hwɛ sɛ obɛtumi akenkan ate aseɛ wo deɛ no teacher kura classroom ɔsɛ nkɔdaa ne ne nwoma nti ntimi nkyerɛ adeɛ mea teacher no ankasa menni teachers book ntimi nkyerɛ adeɛ ne nyinaa ne sɛ yɛankyerɛ no methodology anaasɛ ɛkwan a yɛfa so kyerɛ akɔdaa deɛ nyɛ no yɛkyerɛ no
I see teacher
enti emra du sɛ ɛsesa
I say assistant no near introduce pedagogy no my yembisa na nansa ko because ono e try dia wa abotire e bia omo you see pedagogy ni bi nana popacho chain na say baby my charge no what ye pedagogy ni bi wo ho ma na ono nso ponu abade
pocho enokwe near teacher openi can enokwe the pedagogy of teaching here the main principle to the drive every teacher scenario. And then we have lesson plan creation. But once you know the pedagogy, you already know the steps and modes of teaching. And before you even become certified, there are certain things that every teacher or a certified in Virginia or America had. You have to take child abuse and neglect. You have to take regulations governing the use of force or harsh punishment on the students. Even in front of the class, you have to separate him and correct them, then later call the parent. But as to instruction to them opinion, education is normally in relation with policy analysis. So they have one branch of education offering educational leadership and policy analysis, ELPA. Those are the ones that are trained to become principals and headmasters of schools. And it also relates to policies or government to the BB to the Ghana Education Service. But as to classroom instruction, is a pedagogy no here, and to them or book any book. You know the series of steps for them to take. In Sami Day, though I teach foundations of technology and engineering, introduction to engineering, I know what both of the branches do, and I know the curriculum, and the state too has set its own curriculum or when you maybe open they meet. So, like businesses and places have certain criteria. And so we have something known as workplace readiness. In CBBA teaching, it is tailored towards Nkwarano well-being. So once they even leave the school environment, even at the secondary school level, they can do certain things and be employed gainfully. However, no, from Ghana system, I'm no. In as much as I chew and porn, and the chew and pour system was beneficial, no, for our memory retention. And when we came here and everything was hands-on, because before I left Ghana, and I used to call myself a computer analyst. Meaning the computer, now you there repair 82 na shit. But when I came to the US and I came to realize, no, the real deal is the programming and writing code to make the thing do certain things. Plain before able to code womb, or light before able so code womb, who phone before an mobile. So everything is embedded with code. And then I came to realize, oh, this is even as you crowd days here. So Ghana system no nyama bi wɔ hɔ ɔboa, but foundation in Namboas and it be how divergent. And I think it is hard time people like me, Tido Penyini, and others that are knowledgeable come to the convergence. And we have something to a year's training of Raman. We have something called the innovative lab. Yeah. Innovative lab, and what we do is the first Friday of every month, businessmen and businesses or people around the area, when you students in the Beshia. So if somebody is a feature in magazine, or will be a mason, or will be a tailor, or something like that, they come to the school. So they would have gone to maybe Prempe, Tia Media, or St. Louis, and then they talk to the student to know what their project plans and goals are. And then so project are viable. What most the support to promote it. It could be a business venture or it could be a creative system. So that is how we have been doing it here.
I see.
For what I know.
Yo. Now, I can't sing I'm a pandemic say teacher and so ne thoughts on that. There, all said and done, no, there is something to be said for the Ghanaian education system as well. No, what my true and poor teacher. Your system no more that nana cycling. Yeah, my true no way your true near poor. And so I could do baby, and so a boy a crow. Young friend was an example. But apart from no, at the end, you now share Ghanaian education system. Yeah, no, right. I will see a maintain.
Yo, sa I say Siania Magui Trimu, Wabra, Yantiasia. So Siagu Trimu now Tiasia. Yeah, sir, baby, or Rubia, I won't say, oh, Mamma Tro. Omoko kind speech, or Tron speech, on one in him said you see Tron. Oh, yeah, was I kaimwa, na baba. And what I say, now we baba noa, Nequanon. Nemo more baba, wabra won't ya say there, and ye, wow, Quambias. A big obey me a school a year, one degree, if you say what the babana, 9 degree, no, or bano apply. Yeah, man, office be say on apply on me. So, and Baba na de ebroswa enye na Baba no nso enye se enye kra eye kakra
for retention.
Na mmom se ye man eno abedo so achen ade no nti ase de ene ade bone. Ebi ubo se ye akora onim de obeye. Akora choose the subjects la e just ohun de onfa o kodi ne namfo achi radio culture say airplane am piloting ye no fe we no e kan ho e na ye bre me kai say na me ni abre me fi school asim pese me engineer na me nkonta nso enka se the engineer nkota aka so enti me bra ya ko baabi na me ame sesa akɔyɛ social science ɛnso nka mefi aseɛ wɔ social science ne ntɛm a nka bi a nka yɛka ɔmo a ɛduru akyiri anka meka ho so ɛnyɛ me ho mede ɛkora deɛ ɛsɛ mehu ɛsesa nkɔraa no nka ɛsɛ yɛtumi nya teacherni bi a ɔyɛ psychology yɛ a ɔnam from school to school ɔne nkɔraa no ntare ate yɛkɔ school wɔ Ghana yɛnhu psychologist biara sɛ ɔne yɛbɛkasa da wotusu subjects a ɛno ara ne sɛ yɛsɛ woyɛ adeɛ nti ɛne ɛfa wei na wafa wokɔduru kwa mu a waka so nti yɛwɔ nneɛma bebree wɔ hɔ a yɛwɔ problem wɔ
ɛna te sɛ nea ɔpanyin asa kantankareka yɛo to them opinion kantankareka to the school psychologists and stuff. Yes, the ratio of student to psychologists now at least every student be 7 or 10 be our school psychologist school in the same school. It's not like a crowd different places, right? Resident there. So guidance counselors also help them to choose subjects that they like. And parents should be paying particular attention on the interests of their children. Ghana Day, Sebi Obia Peda by a doctor. So Nkrofo magazine, ye juma wenyim no bro, onya sam ketua. Same Matina Kumasi magazine, na me Kumasi Fanti New Town. Mechira ade so asapo. And then I lived around Swami magazine. I saw the work the people are doing there. And the plan is because yen yabaha yehu AutoCAD need 3D design and 3D modeling. Many of the parts now they can make it better. So it's my plan says me be do fear. I'm gonna try to link up with some of them Pennyfue magazine maybe. And then we can try to see if they can partner with schools alongside what they are learning in school. Because everything is hands-on, and if only the government will put more effort in vocational schools, technology institute, and so forth, and Kebebwa, schools like KTI, Brewer Vocational School, technical school. Back in the day, no technical school, almost from who is almost technical school. But here, no. Student crowd where we secondary school or senior well done. He's getting paid $78,000 a year. Obia we secondary school. And this is real money. And a time beyond so normal penipa. And so see say they are asking me, say, oh, Master Ubenya Ghana teachers are more good or mass ne technology, so what they are my uncle Bebwayo, ye hear nipa, say. And I'm also saying, sir, no, we need an exchange program whereby maybe they be a students 20 Beba Ghana for 1 month or 3 months. And a Ghana students 20 Abaha. And I say be a program, it is termed International Professional Exchange. If I were to see my document, I would have shown it to you right now. I have published. The International Professional Exchange, the idea is that to be a carpenter for, fitter for, mason for, we will pick at least 30 people every 6 months. So that per every 6 months, you know, so for the baby America. And America, also beba Ghana, behese ni a Ghana for ni siye juma. So say we can learn from each other. So those things are all in the works. But
very interesting.
And say, in your money is you need me and hands on and kebebwa. And they say you may for no so Ghana now buying stakeholders and the more partner. There should be a partnership between the on-field and in the classroom.
I see. Yo, mama yanko school ni mu afi. You share the way your schools you see no. The way you see a year you be a typical American schooler. It's almost the same thing. Ubenya canteen area, ubenya more playground, ubenya more car parks, ubenya certain things are basic. The way you see your schools in Ghana no. Ebwa addition teacher mama found chance.
Yo, what if we say, and one say I could formation be so much. Ebi kura mpo a nkwaraa no tena daa no mu a esum ba daa no mu ama teacher twerɛ kora wɔ hunu teacher twerɛ board so no ɛdan no sɛdeɛ ɛsisi no ɛne baabi a kanea ayi ɛhyɛn efiri ba no ɛmmoa ɛma ayi akwaraa no ɔnhu adeɛ no so nso n'anim fry anaa ɔnni eye problem biara but sɛdeɛ ɛsi dan no ɛne baabi a ayi enwunu ɛne nsuo ne mframa ɛfa ba no bi wɔ kora dan no a wɔte mu no nsuo tɔ a gye sɛ wɔn tu firi dan no mu ɛkɔka class foforɔ ho ebi sɛ nsuo no ba dan no mu ne nyinaa ne sɛ dan no yɛamfa ama expert ɛna osii dan no yɛamfa ama expert na ɔdorɔ dan no.
wohwɛ teacher mi nso da so wɔ so a but wohwɛ President Mahama e-blocks a osii yɛ yɛn sɛ no edi party from that kakra. However, me say still even if that meets the standards, Nana Sako, what do you think?
I'm thinking, say, the opening kind of structures need to be well thought out and planned. The environment, playground sessions, and the admittance of light, say, kind beba classrooms more. And as you are saying, when I came to Ghana and I saw the e-blocks, I was very much impressed. The e-blocks was like an advancement on what we had from our colleges. Some of us went to better schools around these Cape Coast areas, Accra areas, and so forth. But with him building the e-blocks even to the rural areas was impressive. I went to a place around Otom. Otom is the former president's hometown, Atamel's hometown. And getting to that way and to other areas in the hinterland, you can see these blocks there, and they are making very good use of it.
Teacher, I hope Sebenya teacher back, but until we get teacher back, no. Nana, I also want us to talk about things like let's start with the child's normal day at school, right? In New York, for instance. During the COVID, in there, schools were actually sending lunch packages to children's homes. Exactly. Because the common thought there, some children depend on the school even for feeding. Like there are some children, especially children of immigrants, most immigrants who are looking for brighter whatnot. Their children go to school, they eat a good breakfast in school, they eat a good lunch in school, and then they may come home and eat dinner. And to see COVID, what's apart from their parents collecting checks for COVID, there were cities and states that were actually sending out checks to children's homes to help with feeding them. When it comes to our schools, meaning that we are trying to say there's some type of school feeding program going on. Nana, our charge about you know the quality of the food we serve our children. We know what food contributes to a child's development. You know both systems. Talk to us about child feeding in our schools, Ghana versus USA.
Right. Like child feeding program, it is very, very important. And certain schools are classified Title 1 or Title 2 schools. And these schools are specifically schools that the children are heavily dependent on the school meals. Whereas if in the Ghana and boarding house na school dining hall na box na provisions because I have schools and most of them are day schools or walkable. Most of the kids are heavily dependent on the breakfast, lunch that they served in the school. And the food quality, they try to give them a variety, like every day or every other different day of the week, and they have something that they know they will eat. And then coming the next week, in our switching, they make sure they are eating fruits, vegetables. Each student has a juice, some bread that's the peanut butter and jelly, and our package in the camera. And these things, and if you look at the Ghana feeding program now, In as much as I was a banner boy students in my way to many when some of the food vendors are not even doing what they said they were supposed to be doing. But because I have an accountability level near high, into minji contract there is supply is burnt to school and fenco. Or even if the food's temperature doesn't meet certain standards, I will not exactly. The one time we make a jam tuna boxes or there was a fridge and I design would do and so forth. But say you has also had ice in it. But because I didn't do more overnight, no the tuna boxes mark a sack as a 50 pounds. Bread exhibition headquarters. So sometimes
Culture.
they
Yeah.
are very particular about the temperature of their food, the quality of the food, and the authenticity of it. So these are the things that they look out for.
And
And the
this is
school
everywhere.
feeding program here is something that they are very particular about.
That's right. Nana, in New York, I worked with some, it wasn't a school, it was a facility, cottages with some youth who were in the penal system. Let's just say that.
Right,
Now, I want to them, we had to feed them, and the food is packaged and brought with specific instructions how to serve it. You have to heat
right.
it up to a certain
Temperature.
temperature before you serve it, and all of
Right,
that. You have to throw it out after a certain period.
right. After a certain
Milk
period.
cannot be in the fridge for more than 2 weeks, whatnot.
Right, right.
When it comes to Ghana, however, now I know that I don't know, maybe some schools get better than others, but generally speaking, no. And again, let me also say this: some of the meals, no, there are schools where children pay for the meals, right? You have a card, like my boys now. We actually pay for their lunch. You put money on the card, they go, they scan it, and then it gets deducted from their card and whatnot.
But even then, Kwesi, they have a format that is a federal form that will let students fill. So if you want to eat school lunch without paying for it, that you fill it, your parents fill it with their SS number. They
Mhm.
look at their income background, and
Income.
then you are on.
There you go. And I also think they're tax deductible, I believe, right?
Right,
Some of
right,
these things. And in the long term, you actually, it's still free to a large degree.
right.
But point I made in Ghana, no, we are fixated there. It has to be free. And the quality doesn't matter. So you're free, that's a quality in Yampa. It's free, everybody eats. Should we do that? Or should we invest a little more as parents to make sure that the kids are getting quality meals? For instance, if
I
neighbor was
think
not there,
I,
not say obisu neighbor was school, not say I'm a moon to intia, then you put neighbor to me with right? Why can't that person pay and I apply for that federal grant, no? But then the food is bumped up. And then
the asɛm yi Eric asɛm hia yi dɛ sɛ apart from government subsidy, parents will contribute to a school meal fund. Then let us also encourage school agriculture. School beer was school farm. Back in the day, it was part of socializing and getting people together. We didn't have custodians and cleaners beer. We were the students cleaning the campus and weeding and so forth. In as much as in this time and era, they will say it's corporal. I think practicing these kind of farming methods or even bee and honey harvesting and little things that the
mushroom.
school can do to raise its income level will be beneficial. Because here and where students need a painting or where printed t-shirts are another way art and construction what jiska what ton and once those are sold, it is contributed to the school. And apart from the feeding us, imagine that each student is recognized to have lunch and they can even throw these foods away. And I always remind them that, hey, before you throw it away, ask another person if they need it. Because you are fair and they have to have it. But Ghana is Vanessa America. If parents can subsidize a certain portion of the school feeding program, I feel that they could have made the food better.
Of course. And now another issue I mean when we moved to Texas, one of the things I experienced there was this event where companies different companies come together, and then
and
there's
contribute.
have
That
some
is the one of the most important things. The companies in the communities. So
yes,
like today, Cape Coast, there, hotels and businesses and the stakeholders be
farms and all that.
was it to
And you
format.
making what they were doing is that they were giving stuff away. And you have stores like Academy, for instance. They'll come and give away shoes.
Right.
They'll have like 3,000 pairs of shoes. Parents will
Right.
come and queue up and pick them and
Exactly.
they'll have shops who will be giving out, and it's a great form of advertisement for these companies.
Right.
Even down to farms, because there were some few farms that once were set up for home. They have apples, they have bananas,
healthy products in
it was an mouse, one free bag of apples. In a small advertising, they be shame nazi. Some of these things we have to everything was that there's a glut in some place. Oh, tomato ebu ha ye nyani pa momunto.
Some of the bar near the commerce school.
Even if they are not buying it, there should be a way where you can give it for free and write it off for tax.
Right.
Write it off for tax. I think that's something that farmers should start doing. Government should help farmers to do. If you have produce that's in glut now, give it away for free and write it off for tax so that the government will give you some sort of for that. Especially tomatoes nebudo. School be waham when you tomatoes. Maybe the tomatoes now come on the Monday. There's a small little ceremony about it. And then I write it off for tax. I think that's a brilliant idea. Nana, you go to methods of teaching, pedagogy. Apart from that, we have started introducing things like a STEM system in Ghana and all of that. I think that we are doing well to catch up with standards, but it's not widespread. Anyway, generally speaking, the methods of teaching in Ghana, what do you see versus in the US where you are?
I would say method of teaching disparity in some, but it's just that the Ghanaian teachers' zealousness and their yearning and passion for teaching it makes do for where there are so many shortfalls and shortcomings. Yeah. So where that we may be lacking certain systems in place that could have helped the teaching better. Teachers are being there to improvise. For instance, here, whereby students have one-to-one, and one-to-one as in one student, one laptop, one student, one Chromebook. In our Ghana system, now, I don't think even the university level, school number one laptops. It's matter. Meanwhile, here, we have the system set in place that every person is using this to access a certain portal. We have a portal created, and I've been actually thinking about creating a high school portal or a university portal whereby the information and the things that we teach here can be available on the site for other teachers and students to access it to also better themselves. Because these things are in public domain. When Virginia Department of Education sets its curriculum for engineering foundations or technology foundations, per every week, and they have a certain goal they want you to meet. And when the kids come to school at first, now we assess them to see how they are doing. And over the time period, we have progress report. As we speak today, my progress report is supposed to be ready by tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Whereby Afrebebi Obum during this semester now. Wherever they have raged, I have to know it. And this is the second progress report of the period since we started. So there are certain metrics they always measure depending on the subject area. And teachers are supposed to know the specific subject area they are teaching, apart from the general teaching knowledge.
Yanka child safety so sem kakra. In America, generally when you take your child to school, you may sign them on as, at least in Texas where I live, you sign them on as walkers or car riders. And the school kind of takes responsibility for your child to a certain point. You can't just walk in a school and go grab your child. it is a process even to get your own child from the school for a doctor's
Exactly.
appointment.
Exactly.
The school is very responsible for the safety of the child.
Mhm.
They teach the children what to do in case there's an intrusion and all of these things. Ghana no every day what bodo na kong and obi afani baby. I don't think that once there's dismissal, no, the school takes any form of responsibility for the children again. So a child can come to school, close from the school, something happens to the child, and then there's a gap in between the bro upon and whenever that thing happened, like how do we even see those things? What should we do for the children's safety in Ghanaian schools, Lord Nana?
Like in recent times, for instance, I saw on the news that some teachers have gone to have personal relationship or intimate relationship with students.
Yes.
That thing is a no-no here in America. If that thing happens, apart from you losing your job, getting terminated, you are also going to be prosecuted before the law for abusing your authority. For
and even when
abusing
you are
your
left alone,
authority.
the sex offender tag that you carry for the rest of your life.
And also, you will have to register as a sex offender so that whoever lives in the vicinity know this is the kind of lifestyle you are in.
Yes.
And when we as teachers, kids are brought to us here in school in America, there is something called parentis in loco. We are the parents in representative in place of the school. And that parentis in loco, you have to go and do the test and the assessment to show and prove that you can observe child abuse in case something has happened to the kid from their home before they came to school, or study for patterns. And so we as teachers, even before the kids come to school, it is a requirement that you have to be standing at the front of your gate to welcome and greet your students. And the reason is that we have been with them for a while. So if there is a body change or some emotional twist, you can read it. And we are mandatory reporters. It's like if you suspect something is going on or something is out of place, you will have to report for it to be investigated rather than you not reporting and something happening. And if you do not report a suspicious incident, you are held liable before the law. So you talking about here and in Ghana, no? And it's true, when we close from school, we know how each student is getting home. Either your parents is picking you up, or either you are riding the bus or you are walking home. And if somebody is picking you up, their name have to be on record with their photo identification to match if they come in. So security, and because people abduct case or maybe child abuse and other things, they do not take certain things for granted. And their eye is always on them for them to know what is going on or for them to be responsible. And I think we should adopt some of these practices at home in Ghana. We should know what happens between the kid leaving the school, either as a day student or as a boarding student. And the good thing in Ghana is that most of the parents are partnership in education. The teachers are partners in education. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Boateng Soti. Thank you for being here.
Yo, na asama cafe be no watch asem bi aba ma adwenim sisi. There was this guy who was on TV saying something very extremely annoying, ridiculous. That incident that you referred to about the teacher being intimate with a little child, no, it's the girl's fault. But why did the girl even bring a phone to school? Let's disregard the obvious absurdity in that statement. But let's talk about phones in school. Here in the US, kids are barred from bringing phones to school and using them, but not from bringing phones to school. Because Biana Mikin, afraid or a walker, Waponi, Manana Oba Friend Papa Katende, Mapono, when I'm Quando Merba, another Shamohana de Famohana de Bibi them. Where you teach, is bringing phones to school frowned upon, and to what degree is it frowned upon?
All right. Recently, actually, in the past 2 or 3 days, I've written up 3 students on phone use.
Mm.
The new rule is that as of this year, this school academic year, phones are barred during the school instructional period. So between the time they come to class at 7:10 a.m. till they close at 2:20 a.m., you are not supposed to use your phone anywhere in the building.
Mhm.
However, some students still try to sneak it. I've been gracious enough to them, and parents are partners in this. They've been made aware already. And has been a law set by the Virginia House
Mhm.
body. So I made them aware the first time I see you trying to sneak a phone, I will call home and notify your parents. The next time I see it, it's a referral, and that relates to an in school suspension or something else. So the use of phone is now currently being frowned upon. And as you said, when students close, they use the phone to communicate to their parents and so forth. But from instruction bell 7:10 in the morning to 2:20 in the afternoon, they are not supposed to use it, even during break. Uh-huh.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, if you find a student with a phone that he's not using, are you allowed to confiscate it?
No, you cannot confiscate any phone whatsoever. You can make a referral to it.
Okay.
However, if the student is on using it or plugged in with the headset or trying to do any shiesty move as in recording, because recently a student has recorded that, and in a matter of bullying, I know you are going to come on to that, but the student is saying that somebody was calling him the FAGGOT word and that he is GAY and so forth. But in as much as I had heard it as a glimpse, I thought they were playing, because this guy initiated it and I didn't take much of it. However, a student had written a note to me and had left it in my teacher box that I when those students did that, the person said anonymous, so I don't know whether it's a he or she. I
Mm.
laughed it off, and bullying is serious, and some people have ended themselves due to that.
Mm.
And so the next time I came, I was particular. I said, if even somebody blinked twice, you are being written up. If you do anything out of the ordinary that is not part of the school rules, you are getting written up. And in case you've forgotten the rules, go back to our modules. That is the first document up there and check it. And so from the last few days of last week, I've been on them trying to keep them in a police academy rather than being in a very like mild environment.
So it
However,
sounds like,
sometimes it's good to keep things in check.
mm, it sounds like there's a common thought be there. American schools lack discipline, right? And Ghana, they are strict. They do this, they do that. They do. But to be honest with you,
No.
from what you are saying and from my own experience with my kids,
Right.
some of these schools, bro, like, listen, they don't play at
Yo,
all.
the discipline America here is no joke. If you get 2 or 3
And
referrals,
it's structured and it's prompt. It's not like Ghana.
right.
So who they media show. Many were for
Debi
the
debi 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 debi.
It's
Sa
structured.
friend
If
ya
you have to face
mbozi
it, you face it.
na say chro referral or their friend parents mo hu at the same moment they in the way see.
Mhm.
The only difference would you have on 1 year strict in the Ghana, we believe in corporal punishment. They was a teacher to go to
Yeah.
keep you in check right there and then. But here you can't touch any student. You
Mhm.
can't hit them, not like even touch them. It's masa. To
Yeah.
do rubo for mumpa men saw because there should be no physical contact between the teacher and the student whatsoever. So if they are being a nuisance or being recalcitrant or not following instruction, you just call front desk or security. The student will be removed instantly. And so they have uniformed policemen on campus as well as security that are not carrying weapons.
Mhm.
And if you keep flouting the school rules, you end up being taken to a school whereby all the hard nuts have that school. So you'll be in that kind of school.
Let's talk about the big elephant in the building. You've already referred to it, bullying. In Ghana, no, it is more in secondary schools, right? That's where you see more bullying. It's more like a seniority thing, whereby in St. Peter's where I went, you see Senior Rasta, who is this big, bullying from one boy who's that big, and you couldn't do much about it. It's what it is, right? In Ghana, however, and I don't know if we have an issue with bullying at the primary school level, at the elementary level, and also if so, how bad is it? But also in America, no, what are some of the things you are faced with in terms of bullying?
Yeah, in terms of bullying in Ghana, you day say who they perform one or what's homo why a baptism, what show a subun Sudan to harden you. But here in the Damazin, ya may with us Ibiam of Raman say about can't wago, why did you want to dam or wago? In some view of her, I will feel down yasam and one waffle is serious. Today bi obi so Ghana obi tumfro bi owu yo bolo ashia we achia lenge. They don't want that. You can't say somebody is big, somebody is fat, like that. You can't comment on their looks or even on their appearance. Yeah.
Or
So
their
it makes
ethnicity or anything like that, which is also another thing altogether.
right.
We don't even have that, right? They will be fiha, no be fiha, be a tuntum, be a day, be a day.
Right. Sometimes to colors or even the accent and so forth. You know, so all these little elements and aspects, they make us actually do a bullying recognition and a bullying assessment. If it goes on over a period of time, it is classified as bullying. Waste once, waste twice, it's bullying. If it is one time, it could be an error or a mistake. So they give us key indicators to look out for so that you can prevent this in the classroom environment and stop fights. Because most fights and most heading in school originates out of bullying.
That's right. Wow. Nana, let's have you give us some advice. Generally speaking, with your experience, having been to school in Ghana and now teaching in America, no, what are some of the things that if we should incorporate into our educational system back in Ghana? Any and everything in the entire system that is going to make it better, taking our circumstances into consideration.
Me feel that teacher professional meetings and collaborations is very important. You find the schools who ibi Accra na the Kwewu or Cape Coast. Ibi our music, most of me music or Accra, each music were they. Those interlinks and they should be talking to each other to know what each is teaching rather than as being in isolation and siloed. Yeah. And also, there is something I would take in very important professional planning as well as professional development. So, though when you a teacher, no, though we a teacher training college, and also teachers and but there are certain practices I want me to and other the best practices are now in Yama Binumi baby or one it will too may adopt. So every teacher has a planning 1 hour planning day in the school teaching day. So though much as the first period, maybe a second period they're planning, whereby you can use to think and plan about what you need to do for the next episode. And also no, there are career developments or the teacher no question be before for us about one student now, no so woman who's scanners at my side. These things has to be encouraged. The government needs to pay particular attention to teachers. Businesses need to give them room. Teacher, you be share fan and air conditioner and laptop and those things. They should be provided for so that they could build at certain
Cars. Even cars.
even
Right?
cars and so forth. Right.
Teacher, no say a teacher, especially in Ghana, when you're a teacher in Ghana, your employment is very much secure.
Right.
BES will retain you. They'll pay you over a period of time. So it should be easy for you to get a car loan. If you ask me.
Right.
Some of the schools, and the way these schools are built here in America, no, they have a teacher's car park, different from the car park.
Students
so when you go there,
park.
it's easy for you to see what the kind of cars the teachers use.
Right, right.
These are
car,
not cars, brother. These are like cars. Teachers, they drive Benz, they drive
like car, papa,
you know.
2x4.
Yeah. It's the Ghana government should think of some of these things. If you can't pay the teachers, maybe one thing with paying is that if they bump teachers up, it comes with a whole lot of headache for the government because of other professionals that have to follow suit, right? But what if you introduce programs for them whereby it's easy for them to get cars, which they need, by the way, to do their work?
Right. It even ease the burden and the stress so they can plan and focus
function
on
more effectively. It looks like I truncated your statement.
Yeah, I was saying that by doing so, it helps and enable them to focus on more important things as in instructional planning, rather than thinking about daily bread, how to get to the place and so forth. And these kids look up to us as sources of inspiration. But to look at the Ghanaian teacher to be disheveled, sweating, and all those things, sometimes
it doesn't even make it a good career choice for the kids themselves.
Right.
I remember there was this silly joke that we used to crack back in school and things.
Right.
Teacher. Because you can only say nonsense like that in a place like Ghana, because in America, you know how many times I applied to be a teacher and was refused?
Right. That you have to go through some steps and this and that.
So
to even
I asked my little boy, what do you want to be when you grow up? Some kids will say, I want to be this, I want to be that, the next thing. He says, I want to be a music teacher. I said, why? Because he said, because I want to be like my teacher. Apparently, he really likes what he's saying with his music teacher.
Exactly.
To the point that as a child, when I dream with the Onyina, he wants to be like Mr. whatever his name is. I really don't know his name.
And one thing too, before we go, is that we should let our children and students be their own advocates. We shouldn't be looking down on kids with disrespect that, me a teacher, me can say, no. The kids also have a voice in Ghana, and they shouldn't be stifled or be made afraid of their voice. That is one thing I want us to focus on. And those superficial outlooks of things like, be a dreadlock, I know be a chapong, I know be a day, those things doesn't really help in education. In as much as we think other kids or students may copy certain lifestyles, certain people have their own backgrounds, and those superficial things as that thing has to go. They need to let the kids be free, let them learn and know that the environment is conducive, because here every teacher has the responsibility to make their classroom a good, welcoming learning environment
for every child.
Right. Every child will feel welcome. Nobody excluded. And before I forget, don't forget some of these kids have special accommodations and reservations. You might have a student that may have ADHD or be autistic or issues be.
Yeah.
But we as teachers, though you are giving instruction, you need to know everybody's background so that you can blend your lesson and teach them. And before I start any lesson of the day, I give them a quick warm up. Hey, what do you know about water? What is water? Do not Google it or do not search it. Then they will come, maybe water is a colorless, odorless substance of hydrogen, oxygen, them. And sana maybe so what are the sources of water? It can be coming from streams, rain, glaciers, steam, and so forth. Into warm up in and sign a summary though. Today we are gonna discuss this. The target of the lesson is this, that, and the outcome I'm expecting from you is this. Now, and sign so you know the expectations and what we are gonna do.
Fantastic. Finally, uniforms. More New York, and not Mumbai no walk to school, they could wear anything they like. Yeah, but Texas, we went to I took my daughter to this school, and they had to wear a uniform, something that I have never seen, to be honest with you, since I've been in the United States until we moved here. No,
Right.
Do your does your school have a
Virginia schools don't.
Cool.
In Virginia school, for instance, the kids can wear whatever they wear. And sometimes when I see some of the outfits they wear, I'm like, hey, a kid can wear this to school? Like, strange outfits sometimes, strange hair dyes and so forth. However, the kids that have become too stubborn or persistently getting referred or getting into trouble in school some way, somehow, have a certain school that they go. And that school, they are compelled to wear a uniform.
Okay. Now, I'm the match or they any series, so because one discussion would not do justice to it. So for the sake of time, it's the hand there. But another time we will come back and pick it up from where we're leaving off. I think that there's a lot, especially and you are best placed for something like this, because you know the Ghanaian education system, you know the US education system, and you know where we can fit in and everything. But as we go on, finally, Maka finally being, but let me add one last as we go on. Okay, there, Chew and Paul, for instance, was a good thing that it was something that Ghanaian or people who are educated in the Ghanaian system benefit from. What are some of the other benefits of the Ghanaian education system as we bow out? Finally.
And Ghanaian education system, I don't know if you have observed. Have you noticed that most of the excellent doctors in the US are of African roots? Be it open heart surgery, be it plastic surgery or other fields. And that is coming from the fact that when we were growing back home, we always saw animals being dissected. And so that thing becomes second nature to the African student. And once they are exposed to the theory and real life issues, they easily adapt to it. In as much as the true and poor system is sometimes frowned on, it has helped in my study here, because though I did not go to the university in Ghana, when I came here, things wasn't that difficult to transition to the university system as well as doing any academic thing. Because of what we had learned back home and the foundational processes, things were easy to assimilate. Even the multiplication table here was a children of school. 212, 224, 236, that kind of stuff. That thing was so beneficial that there are certain figures, as soon as the kids say that know exactly what is going on, and they ask like, how did you know that? But this is all the little training that we learn from home.
Yeah. All right. Nana and Sako, that's it, Papa. Let me show. And
Yes.
as I said, we will be checking in with you from time to time to update the awesome knowledge that you have shared with us today.
Thank you, and I look forward to another progressive discussion.
Thank you very much. We'll talk.
Have a good
Radio, culture, culture. Radio, culture.